This is a poem titled Short Memories. Scott Morrison's been our leader since Malcolm got the axe, and the thing that really singles him out is the way he spins the facts. He's secretive, manipulative, controlling. Every step and move is planned. And when Macron called him out, a private text was seen to land. It's win at any cost. This is the way he plays the game. He's ruthless to the core, always seeks to shift the blame. He's been known to tell a porky, maybe more than one, it's true. But if this is pointed out to him, he'll try to pick a blue. He's partial to a blunder. A few I will cite here, but if there's a chance to score a vote, he'll always raise a beer. We know he loves his caps and that Cronulla jersey too, a carefully marketed image. He hopes will get him through. He tells us he's a Christian of the Pentecostal kind, but he's in his attitude to refugees, no goodwill will you find. He bumbled his way through the bushfires, which kept him on his toes, but in his defence he told us he didn't hold a hose. He doesn't like the ABC and stripped their budget to the bone. There are no cuts, you'll hear him say, but the facts are clearly known. His trip to Hawaii was badly timed, with many places here in flames. Really looked like he didn't care. We hope he felt some shame. Let's not forget that robo-debt, which happened on his watch. Much stress and grief for those concerned. It was an illegal botch. The JobKeeper scheme proved very effective and helped us limp on through. It was especially good for the big end of town, who kept the 20 billion too. But when it came to COVID, too few vaccines were on his list. He tried to control the message, but the opportunity was missed. This resulted in the stroll out, which left us way behind. But then he told us it wasn't a race. Perhaps he thinks we're blind. And we know he's keen on coal and has used it as a prop. But the chickens really came home to roost when they called him out at COP. We'll meet and beat our targets, he repeats most every day. But this doesn't amount to a policy to keep climate change at bay. He said he believes in miracles. Last election proved his case, and he hopes that God will again intervene to help improve his base. The responsibility for aged care rests squarely with his team, but those tragic scenes in our nursing homes were far too often seen. He likes that we call him ScoMo to show he's one of us. With his thumbs up wide, he shows his glee. It always does look sus. Electric cars can't pull a van, I think I heard him say, but now they can. He's changed his tune, a U-turn on the way. Those car park grants were something else. His office sped them through, with the majority going to coalition seats. A miracle, it's true. We also had the sports rorts, where Bridget took the fall, but those colour-coded spreadsheets put his office in the call. Now we need a National Integrity Commission, certainly one with teeth, both open and transparent, but this isn't in his brief. It's a kangaroo court, that's his call. He'd rather mock the law and keep the rorts and all. But climate change has caught him out. He's been too long in denial. So what he says this time around will contradict his file. It's all about perception, what he can make us think is true. He's not thinking of our long-term future. the next news cycle will do. When it came to Brittany Higgins, there was nothing he could recall, and nobody in his office told him anything at all. But this is really not believable with an incident such as this. It sounds like false denial and needs to be dismissed. So he initiated the Gaetjens inquiry to find out what the office knew. Just another way to hold the line while our memories fade out too. He'll defend the indefensible, as the Porter case did show, a blind trust of unnamed sources. I guess we'll never know. He'd like that we would trust him, but trust has to be earned. It isn't built on secrecy. This fact he hasn't learned. He called for an inquiry on COVID, pointed China's way. He put our necks upon the block. Our troubles began that day. He sought to take his mentor to the US. This was gossip, he did say, but when it proved to be the case, the truth got in the way. He won't mention the word mandate when it comes to wearing masks. He preaches personal responsibility, though it's not up to the task. It's once again about the message, which is very mixed indeed, a recipe for confusion, when his job it is to lead. Australia's taking wickets with the virus, he bragged the other day. The fact that we've been caught and bowled would be more correct to say. He's the master of deception. The smirking assassin comes to mind. And when it comes to doublespeak, no better will you find. He announced the National Cabinet plan to see Australia open up. Vaccination targets there to see. The rest just came unstuck. When Omicron came along, this lack of planning was on view. The testing sites weren't ready and the lines too long to queue. And when it came to the rat tests, the tests themselves weren't there, and his attitude that all should pay laid his questionable judgment bare. But he urged us all to push on through when it came to Omicron. It's simply just a change of gears. The deaths you just add on. He often cites that rearview mirror into which we shouldn't look. Perhaps less lessons there to learn if some time he simply took. But technology is on the move. It's sure to save the day. I guess he'd like us on our knees for the climate we can pray. Now ScoMo's in election mode. His lines are well rehearsed. He's kissing babies, shaking hands, and needs short memories to come first.
Authorised by Margaret Reynolds, ABC Friends, Dishwick.